Introduce our first speaker. I don't have the card in front of me, but I think it's you, Seby. Seby Bodian, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Let's go. Have fun up there, Seby.
Hello everyone, my name is Bodian, for those of you who do not know me, and I'm honored to be your class speaker for tonight. My first memory of GFA was in late August of my freshman year. I had taken the Metro North train for the first time to get the freshman orientation, which was being held that afternoon. Entering the train meant a commitment to attending GFA. I was scared, excited, but most importantly, I felt the jolt of maturity that came along with taking the train to my high school. Maybe there was something about waking up about 6 in the morning and taking the 7:02 a.m. train in Greenwich and seeing the adults on the opposite side of the tracks with their fancy suits on their way to Grand Central. That made me feel like I was on my way of growing up. Yet at the same time, entering that train that day, I felt like I was starting from zero. I had seen kids get on and get off, but didn't bother to introduce myself. It was a sense of fear and a bit of laziness that got to me. In my defense, the seats on the train were very comfortable. I got off at Greens Farm Station and somehow found my way onto the front lawn where we are tonight. And there was an immeasurable amount of kids that I had never seen before or met, excluding Ben O'Brien and Dasha Timashev, who I went to middle school with. Speaking of middle school, my 8th grade class had 33 students. So going from 33 to almost 90 students was intriguing to say the least. I was able to spread my social butterfly wings in middle school with 32 other kids, and I wondered how doing it with almost 90 would work. Our freshman year feels like it was yesterday, but also feels like it was decades ago. From our orientation trip to a sleepaway camp in Pennsylvania, to messy fights in the Cameroon jungle, Doc picking kids left and right for chewing gum in the hallways, and of course Kamo with the daily talk with a student who said something dumb or misbehaved. We know who we are, and we're proud. Although with all that said, I don't think our grade really came into form until the following year when we were sophomores. We started to take more classes that intrigued us, began structurizing and stabilizing our better friendships, and the freshman low-life feeling we all had finally disappeared. As sophomores, we really began to call the annex our home. May she rest in peace, that annex had infinite memories from different frees and lunch periods. I, for one, will say on my bad days, stepping into the annex during lunch was an atmosphere that always cheered me up, as there was always a type of rowdiness about her that got everyone going. Now we fast forward to junior year, where the momentum we had as sophomores continued, and we felt smarter, more mature, whatever that means, and finally dipped our toes into the college process. I don't think any of us will forget homecoming day, playing king on a turf field with a full crowd of students surrounding the fences. I'll never forget that game, partly because we indeed beat King, but also because so many kids lined up behind the King's goalie and began to chirp him and just get so rowdy in general that they had to get moved. Although my junior year started a bit rough when I broke my collarbone the day after homecoming, it did give me an excuse to wear non-dress code 24/7. Did I have to wear non-dress code? Probably not. But I figured I'd milk out the injury to its fullest potential. But as we as a grade had garnered up so much steam, just to fall flat because of the COVID-19 pandemic later that spring. Though we missed a traditional junior spring, I think I can speak for all of us students here that if we had the chance to step back on campus for one last ride in the fall, we'd make the most out of it. My first memory was actually getting to school 15 minutes early on the first day of school. I believe that was the only time this year where I actually showed up early to school. Just to witness seeing my classmates and teachers on campus for the first time since that fateful day before spring break last year. I am almost 100% sure that I dapped up everyone and anyone I could see for old time's sake. Because I think a lot of us, going into this year, had no idea whether we were going to have a complete full year without fear of another school-wide shutdown. With that thought in the back of our minds, in addition to the newfound stresses of the college process, I was quite honestly surprised to see that no one in our grade either balded or has a full gray of hair. No offense to my lovely bald or gray-haired people. But to say that we made it is not nearly accurate enough, to describe what a year we've had. To recap, here's a list. The revolts over senior lunch privileges and schedule changes, outside mask policies, class meetings over Zoom, college decisions, and of course my favorite, reply all email chains. Despite those bumps on the way to get here today, we still celebrated our senior year in the ways that were best possible. Senior days in the fall, winter, and spring for respective sports, senior sunrise, college t-shirt day, spirit week, the Nerf war, senior barbecue, some food trucks here and there, and of course, maybe my favorite, Ms. Morrison shedding bittersweet tears on our last day on campus, circled by each and every member of the class of 2021. Although this stays here, it also made me shed a few tears, but no one saw it because I claimed it was my allergies. But Kamo has always been that motherly figure for all of us. Maeve, Stevie, and Isaac being the golden children. Jack Rose being the baby Kamo swore to love and protect forever. And I was the child who got kicked out of the house one too many times. But this is only one example of what not only I have, but many other fellow castmates have had with other teachers at GFA. And on a personal note, I believe that is one of the biggest reasons why our time at GFA has been cherished so much. In addition to the social interaction between us students, the connections we make with teachers is something I never realized was such a gift until my final weeks here at GFA. Being able to ignore the student-teacher labels and just talk to them person to person beyond their titles is something more valuable than one could ever imagine. And despite our highs and lows with Kamo, or with any teacher for that matter, I still owe it to them for being able to stand with us despite our immature jolts of energy, occasional scandal here and there, and most importantly, for just being there for us when we needed it the most. Ironically, that day Kamo shed her tears, I found out I had to be the speaker for tonight, to which Mr. Jones pulled me over to the side, and I thought to myself, it would only be right that I get talked to by the upper school principal on my last official day on campus. The biggest question in my head was, what did I get in trouble for though? I may get in trouble for the speech, who knows? But I have no regrets from my time here, and I firmly believe every other senior feels the exact same way. I've loved and cherished every moment with you guys, and the memories I share individually with you guys, or as a whole grade. No one can ever take that away from us. Though I may shed some tears tomorrow, it won't be because I'm crying, it's probably because I forgot to take my Zyrtec pill. But tears are okay because they make us feel raw emotion. And being part of the greatest class here at Greens Farms Academy is something I will never forget. And like the train I got on to Greens Farms my freshman year, the train will be arriving at its last and final stop for all of us tomorrow at graduation, and what an absolute ride it has been. To think, going into high school, I thought it was all about the next destination, college. But in reality, the journey, the past 4 years here, have been the #1 highlight of my 18 years of life. And I'm happy to move on to the next stage of my life, knowing I left my all here at Greens Farms Academy. To that, I say cheers, and I love you all. Thank you. I would like now to introduce a fellow Greenwich native, Charles Colin.
Now, my grandma knew I was writing speech, so she approached me in the kitchen